What's going on, everyone? So this season is going to be really interesting to see how Luka Doncic, Austin Reaves, and LeBron James kind of shape up as the kind of big three, right? All three guys are capable of scoring, going and giving you 20 plus a night, as well as making plays. All three guys can go get you 8 assists a night on top of 20, right? You look at Austin Reaves when LeBron doesn't play. Austin Reaves is like a 28, 6, and 8 guy, right? A lot of kind of questions of, okay, him and Luka, is that the foundation, the two stars in the Lakers' eyes going forward? I know a lot of people, think Austin Reaves is the next great, Michael Jordan level player. A lot of people think he's the worst player and get off of him and trade him, right? I think he's a very good player, but I don't think he's untouchable and tradable. I think if you can upgrade him into a specific need, not even necessarily a better player, but just a specific, solve a long-term need, right? People always want he's not worth this. But again, you got to look at the team. What is the best fit for the team? That's my thing. I don't want to trade Austin Reaves for a bag of chips. Like the example I used over the last few years was like Colin Sexton, right? I don't want to trade Austin Reaves for Colin Sexton. But if you can turn, Austin Reaves into a Dyson Daniels or something, why wouldn't you do that? I'm just using him as an example, right? Austin Reaves right now might be the better overall player, but Dyson Daniels is exactly the type of player that this team needs and desperately, and he's younger and stuff like that. So again, that's just an example. Jalen Suggs could be another one, right? It depends on what it is. But this season, the Lakers are kind of in this weird spot because it's he was great when he was cheap, right? And now he's at the point where he's in a contract year and he's still going to be the third option, but he's probably going to want to get the bag. I mean, he can get anywhere from $30 to $50 million, right, a year on average. So it's you're not going to get to see him as the second guy alongside Luka. You're only going to get to see him as the third guy. Yes, on occasion, sure, on sample size, but it's different when it's 10 games over the course of the season where him and Luka are the only two guys. It's another thing when it's 82 games or 65 games or whatever when they're going to play, right? So it's hard to kind of judge, and the Lakers are going to have to evaluate that, kind of come to their conclusion based on Austin Reaves as the third guy in the hopes that, hey, him as the third guy will now translate to the number 2 guy and on many nights be the number 1 guy when Luka gets the night off, right? We've seen Austin Reaves as the number 1 guy, and he can go win you games. We've seen that happen. And that's always been kind of my argument to keep Austin Reaves is I worry about the playoffs, yes, but you got to get through the regular season to get to the playoffs. And Austin Reaves is a guy that can win you games that you wouldn't have won otherwise. But that's justified and when he's making $14 million a year. It's not justified when he's making $40, $50 million a year because you need him to show up in the playoffs. Right? So it's if he's showing up in the playoffs and he can have a better kind of turnaround in the playoffs, then yes, right, he might be worth that. But right now, from what we've seen, right, he's been really good in the regular season. Come playoff time, has really struggled. Kind of like somebody else that was on the Lakers that many people were screaming to get off the team because he didn't show up in the playoffs, right? You look at Austin Reaves, the last 2 series, they have not been good, right? This wasn't a one-time, oh man, it was just a bad run for him against Minnesota. No, he was equally as bad in the Denver series, right? Again, go look up the percentages, go look up the metrics, go look up the stats. Right? He was not good. He hasn't been good these last few playoffs, so it's concerning. And he's going to go and he's going to go on another run and he's probably going to be great during the regular season. And then you're going to get to the trade deadline and it's okay, let's keep him because he's going to look great. My concern is come playoff time. Now, if he has a great playoffs, and maybe he will because it's contract year. Him having a playoffs like Minnesota, all of a sudden he's making $20 million a year. Him having a playoff series against the Memphis Grizzlies, now he's probably getting 30, 40 million, right? So again, he could save himself some money. But reports came out that many executives look at Austin Reaves as the long-term partner alongside Luka Doncic. That seems to be the plan with the Lakers, and that the Lakers, are intended to pay him. And again, this is one of those anonymous exec things, so take it as you may. But according to the exec, I think he will get $30 million plus. One executive told ESPN regarding Reeves' next deal, a stance that is seemingly in line with the views of other league sources. So around 30 million, 30, 35 million. I think personally, I think he's about a $25 to $30 million guy. Right, 25 I think would be good value. He's better than, say what you want about the guy. He's better than the 14, 15 million he's getting right now. Right? He's a, 20 bare minimum 20 to 25 million dollar guy. I think honestly, cuz what he's done as a third option and what we have seen, I think he's closer to 25, 30 million. If he got like 4 years 120 million, perfect. No problems. No complaints. Keep him. And he'd be on a cheap enough contract, or reasonable enough, not cheap enough, but reasonable enough contract to where you would still be able to trade him. Teams would line up to go take him. My concern is he starts getting the 40, $50 million contracts. Maybe it's something where the Lakers maybe front end it, right? To where, maybe he's getting 40 million that first year, and then he's getting each year it drops 5 million or something like that, right? Like you see how a lot of people have these front-loaded contracts. Or you look at Devin Vassell, for example, right? He has 27 million, 27 million, 27 million, 24 million, 27 million, right? That's so I would almost let's say you sign him to a 35 million a year deal, right? To kind of incentivize him to stay. Because I do think he'll take a little bit of a discount to stay with the Lakers. I just don't know. I don't think he's taking a $20 million discount, right? If a team offers him 50 million, and you might be thinking who's going to pay him 50 million? Be surprised. There's a lot of bad, front offices in this league. But my thing is if somebody offers him 50 million, the Lakers are he's not going to be okay, I'll play for 35. He's not going to take that big of a steep. But if somebody's hey, we'll give you 40 million, I could see him maybe taking 35 with the Lakers. So I think it's going to also be predicated on the market, but teams would pay him 30 to 35 million, right? So Lakers, he'll probably get around 35 million. So if I'm the Lakers personally, I would front in that contract, right? So, right, instead of him, so let's say it averages out 35 million a year, I would give him 42 million or something like that, year one, right? And then, now you have that 27 season where you're trying to preserve cap space, and maybe that one drops to 30 million, right? And then, kind of Devin Vassell has that 1 year that's 24 million. So maybe his drops 7 million 1 year, and then it's 35, right? Something like that. Or, figure it out, right? You structure it in that way. But the executive also went on to say, the expectations from both that executive and others is that Reeves ultimately will return to Los Angeles, which would cement Reeves' role as a long-term running mate next to Doncic in Los Angeles' backcourt. The role once held by Jalen Brunson and Kyrie Irving. And this is from Tim Bottoms. But the tenor of those negotiations and where Reeves fits in long-term picture for the Lakers could hinge on what happens next spring. Reeves struggles in LA's first-round playoff loss against Minnesota in April, shooting 31.9% from three-point range on more than 9 attempts per game, and also committed nearly 3 turnovers per outing. This is a big season for him, said a Western Conference assistant coach. He better bring it in the playoffs because he's got to be good enough to pair with Doncic. So even in these reports, it's yeah, he's great, but what about the playoffs, right? So even other teams and executives are watching and monitoring Austin Reaves in the playoffs. The thought process is hey, Austin Reaves is going to be the long-term running mate alongside Luka Doncic. That's how that's going to work, right? But if he doesn't do well come playoff time, that could change pretty quickly. So it's really on Austin Reaves. My concern is that he has a really good one this year because it's a contract year. He ends up, balling out. All right. Lakers, if they won a championship, I think it'd be even worse. Not obviously I want to win a championship, but for his contract. Because let's say he balls out and they lose in the conference finals. I think he's getting probably closer to 40 million. If he balls out and they win the NBA championship, that's where my concern lies. Because now I think not only could he be well, hey, look, we just won a championship. Don't you want to run it back? Do you really want to lose me? Look at how good I was. Obviously I want the Lakers to win a championship. It's a good problem to have. Even if you win a championship and you let him walk, you won a championship, right? So, but I think if he has a good playoff run, he's going to get probably 30 million. I think if he has a great playoff run, right? And he shows like, hey, this dude's balling out. Like he has a regular season like he does in the playoffs, and they lose in like the second, third round, something like that, or even in the finals, I think he gets closer to $40 million. If they win the championship and he's really good for them and a huge part of them winning that championship, my concern is that they do end up paying him like 45, 50 million. And then I think that could end up screwing the Lakers. I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping that the Lakers are smart enough regardless to go like, no, he's still a $30 million guy. But Austin Reaves would have a lot of leverage at that point. Because it's like, dude, look at how good I was. On top of how good I was, look at, we just won a championship. You don't want to run it back, right? Like, it's just, it's my concern. But look, again, I like Austin Reaves. I know a lot of people think I hate Austin Reaves. I don't. I just am honest about Austin Reaves. He's not a superstar, right? Maybe he's that. Maybe he'll be that after LeBron leaves, right? I'm not like, I never want to put caps on players, right? Because you never know, right? But right now, he's not the guy that people make him out to be. He's too inconsistent. He has a lot of flaws. Yes, he's improved and gotten better each year, which is good. And that's a good sign. And another reason I don't want to put a cap on the young man, right? But until we actually see him, the problem is like, and obviously, look, I've said on several occasions, I want LeBron to stay this year and really next year because the Lakers don't have that star to replace him with. But given the situation the Lakers are in, it would almost be in their best interest for LeBron to leave. Because then you get a year to see Luka and Austin Reaves as a duo before you have to make a decision on paying him a contract. Because right now you're making him a decision on hopefully he goes and becomes this guy when he's the number 2 option. Right? You're giving a number 3 option the money of a number 2 option alongside Luka, hoping that he actually can live up to that number 2 option. It's a big difference. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.